Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody?
Fantastic.
That's good. We like that. We like good, we like fantastic, we like wonderful. My personal favorite is spectacular, but we can go from there.
Not all of your team members can do that.
It still makes me laugh. Wade did his one-man show, and every time he did it, it made me laugh because you know, he can't whistle, right? And so what? He goes, but the funniest thing is, this made me, he's like, if you ever want to have someone whistle, just tell them you can't whistle. Because it makes you, and every time he, even though I know that he does it, I still want to be like, every time he's like, I can't whistle, I want to go, you just kind of do it. Like there's something inside me that just says, here's how you do it. So that's a very astute observation. So, so that's why you can't do spectacular. But you can do many other things. Yes, incredibly well. So, you all excited? It's funny, like, it's hot. Isn't it hot?
No. You're just on fire.
I am, I guess. So,
I'm telling you, David, where we, absolutely. I don't know where it is. If I would have it, it would be right there.
what's that?
Fan.
A fan
So
just for you,
what's that?
right? It's like it's hot in here. So,
Get a little fan.
I said, where's that little fan that I had to get this Stacy at one time and she gave to somebody else that walked away. So we could have put it right there.
That's funny. That's funny. No, it's good. You guys are comfortable.
Hold on.
I'm good. No,
No, it's not.
Okay.
I promise you.
So, bunch of stuff. This morning, what we're gonna, it's funny. We're at this place where there's a bunch of stuff that we're gonna go over this morning, and I'm excited and frustrated and uncomfortable and nervous and all of right and all of these kind of different parts of what's going on. That's funny. Yes. Does it work? Feel the power of a fixed indexed annuity. Wait for it. It'll come back and say it's crazy. Right? So,
Just in case.
right, just in case.
Well,
You know.
security, we all get one.
Right? We got that. I think we're supposed to take that to the convention. So, we're going to go, today's going to be a little bit more on the technical training side. And these are my least favorite and most favorite kind of experiences, right? Because I don't enjoy doing the true technical training, but I really enjoy when the technical training's done and people do what they're supposed to do. And so there's a balancing act of kind of everything. And it's funny. So working with Anna, and she's doing well, and she scanned her first thing, and we're kind of piecing that together. But it all of a sudden, here's what I'm catching myself doing is I'm like, well, this is what we should be doing, but no one actually knows how to do this, and so we're not, but we're going to. Like, there's like 9 different things that I'm like, we're going to be doing this, and we're going to be doing that. And she's looking at me like, well, when? And I'm like, oh, well, that's an interesting thing. So we're going to kind of introduce some things today as we grow. But a little bit of recognition, I don't know if y'all saw, but Mr. UV's number 5 in the state of California right now. It's a pretty doggone deal. Congratulations to that. My friend Tony and Wendy are number 37 in the state of California right now. Congratulations on that. They got paid last night, so $517 of cumulative. So another Carne Asada qualifier. Congratulations on that. We got that going on. So really. Huh? It's happening. So we've got really excited about that. And then I'm bummed because my wife has a great idea. So we have to make sure that we help some people this week, but you know, and I wasn't eating. Oh God, I'm not even gonna get those out here. We'll give these because we have like someone eat that one. Put back the rest. But we have we know now what the recognition, what the candy's gonna be. We're really excited. It's been a crazy couple days, so gotta get recognition next week. But we did have someone that qualified for the Impact Award that went out and helped the family and the investments and did stuff like that. So for number one for the week, Mr. Tony, congratulations. So we've got to figure out how we're going to do like the competition and all the different things. Because I love playing. Like, it's fun. It's fun, right? Winning's more fun, but shit, playing is more fun than being on the sidelines, right? It's an experience. And we've got to we're at a place where we got to figure this stuff out. So, y'all excited? All right. So the first thing that we wanted to do this morning is that we are going to spend some time on the SSD. Okay. So what this is, for people that don't know, is this is our internal system to be able to cultivate, develop relationships, and to be able to kind of store our information. Okay, so, but for right now, the conversation is that we've got to introduce this as a couple, and there's a couple things that we're going to spend some time and we're going to highlight on. This thing does a variety of things, and today we're not going to get into the full variety, but there's going to be some things that we need to talk about. Okay, so step one, what this is a place to put your contacts. Now, I haven't done this type of training in a really long time. My brain's not there. So just bear with me on this one, right? It takes me a little bit of time. So I'm actually, I know what I need to do. Oops, feel the powder falling. Yeah. All right. The priority of this, okay, so what is this designed for and why do we have this? Okay, so one of the things that we talked about is that, you know, Wendy, is over the next year, our goal is for you to have 50 to 100 people in your corner that understand and support what you're doing, right? Right, that's the premise of Allies, Advocates, and Associates, is we want a bunch of people in our life to be able to understand and support what we're doing. I have a question. What's the likelihood, if we have 50 to 100 relationships that we're actively working, what is the likelihood of us remembering to exactly every detail of those relationships? Like, I have a question for you. How many of you have met someone that you actually liked? You were 20 minutes of the conversation, 20 minutes into the conversation, and you can't remember their name? Ever had that happen?
Yeah.
Like, how many of you think your name's a relatively important part of your life? And another human being forgets it immediately. So one of the things that we've got, this is good, I gotta have this conversation, then our pillars are just back there. You just gotta, you know. So what this does is look, if we really wanna do this, multiple things are gonna happen. How many of us have gone on an appointment? You have a conversation with somebody, they tell you things, you have plans. How many think there's a really good chance 3 weeks or 3 months or 2 years from now, you might forget some of those details of that conversation that you had with them, right? If you, right? Some of you are like, no, I have one client, I remember everything about them, right? I'll never forget, right? But back in the day, right, the number of times that I was, because I was relatively busy, I would walk, because we used to do a lot of things we call retail prospecting, where we'd go to Target or we'd go to Walmart, and this happened a lot, and we'd go, excuse me, I was wondering if you could help me, and we'd meet complete strangers and talk to them about our business. I'm not recommending that is our business strategy, but it's what we did. And the amount of times that I walked up and I introduced myself and talked to somebody who I had seen in the last 6 months in their house and were clients is an embarrassingly high number. And you're like, well, how could that happen? Because you see a lot of people. Well, guess what? If I can't remember their face, I'm surely not going to remember their ambitions. But if I'm going to call and develop a relationship with them, how many think those are relatively important pieces of information to be able to maintain. Because people think their things are valuable. How many think your life is valuable? How many think your ambitions are valuable? Right? If we're going to develop, y'all seem a little tired. Was there a party last night that I didn't go to?
Yep.
Right? I doggone it. I should have. The phone never rang. Okay, so how this works and what this is. Okay, now why this is important, okay, is when we go on an appointment, after we do business, the first thing that happens is the office manager, the hub, the access support, what they do is they go online and they see, oh, business was done. Okay, so here's the protocol so that you understand, right? So go through the process, say, oh, business was done. Then what they do is they come over here and they go into the contact section. And they type the name in there to make sure that all of the information was input. Does that make sense? And so what happens if they type in a name like Cynthia and Cynthia's name's not in here? Now there's no information. There's the phase one of a problem. Okay, if Cynthia's our client. And so now the good news is that they can create it and they can do a variety of things, right? But the first thing that we want to be able to do is we want to be able to put in the contact information, right? We want to be able to go over here. So like what? Isaac, we're going to have some fun right now with you, okay? So it's AAA'z. Last name? You're the third one down. Okay, so here we go. So let's see here. So look, so now all of a sudden, my friend Tony has used the system. So now here you are, you're like, how am I here, right? You're on the draft board. You know what the draft board means? We don't know, we don't have that conversation. It means that you're involved, you're excited, you're doing the business, but you haven't turned in your IBA yet. You're not in the process of getting the license yet, even though the school's done, right? So it's there. Who are you? Best friend, we like that, right? Phone number, email, and Tony put you up, right? So we've got this conversation. So now there's a relationship that's able to go through. I'm really proud of you. I'm very, very excited. I did not know this was going to happen. It's like, this is a very, very positive thing. So that's the type of thing that we want to be able to do. Why? Because it allows us to track through that process. Now, so what this does, it allows you to put in anybody through this process. It allows you to go through and say, okay, here are the people we're working with, here are the relationships, here are the conversations. So it allows us to sort through a variety of different things, right? So now I get to go through and go, right? So who's on the draft board? And what it does is it publishes for me everybody, right? So here's Cindy's, Phillips, Alicia's. These are folks that aren't even active anymore, but they've got different people that are in the relationships that are somewhere there that's gone through. It allows us, so if it's a Sunday and you're getting ready to make phone calls or you're trying to build your business or do whatever, it allows you to leverage the tools that we've got that says, right, so let me go here, let me do this here. So Tony says, okay, I need to create, oh, he's got one. Okay, so let's see. Let's say, okay, so Wade says, okay, I need to create some momentum. It's time. I've got this, I've learned, I've got this mastery thing that I'm working on, and now I've got to really actively start working my teaching mode. Well, the only way I can teach, the only way that I can get really good, I can develop the skill of teaching this business is by having people that I'm teaching. Like theoretically, you can only practice theoretical science for so long. Like you've got to be able to like get in and actually have a conversation, because you guys remember being kids, you want to ask your parents something, and so you go stand next to the wall and you're like rehearsing it over and over and over in your head, and then you walk out and then you start to say it, but whatever you were rehearsing went out, you say something completely different. Y'all have that conversation? Well, it's the same thing, right? You're gonna be like, oh my God, when I got a team, I'm totally gonna crush it. And then you have someone and then you say something completely, you're like, what? I don't even know where that came from, right? We don't even have Tupperware. I don't understand, right? Sometimes it drives me crazy. Okay, so Wade says, okay, I want to start, right? Well, that means that what we've got to do is that Wade's got to get people on his draft board to be able to get them on his roster. Well, how does he get them on his draft board? He's got to start with his bullpen. So now Wade's like, okay, I'm motivated, I'm ready, here we go, we got this going, and now all of a sudden, we're able to say, okay, here's all the folks that are on Wade's bullpen. What does it mean when they're on their bullpen? That means that they'll say what? They can hear you, right? So here's a group of people. So now Wade doesn't have to sit there and go, okay, I want to make these calls. Who should I call? That takes a significant amount of time and energy to figure out the who. Well, if the who's already figured out, now all he has to do is start at one and just systematically go down the list and have the same conversations. That makes sense? So the power of what this does. So, but the other one, the part that we really want to make sure that we do is this one. Now, we want to do all of this, okay? But one of the things that's starting to happen is we're starting to go on some appointments. We're starting to have some of these conversations. And one of the dilemmas that we're starting to face is that if we don't get into this habit now, it's going to cost us, okay? Because it's easy, it's incredibly easy not to do. The problem is, and there's no fire, right? If you don't do it, like, you know, nothing happens. You don't lose a pinky toe, right? Nothing happens right now. But something absolutely happens a year from now. And what happens a year from now is that you wanted to continue to develop a relationship with whoever you're cultivating a relationship with, and you can't remember most of the things that they told you. And so here, the dilemma with that is, I have a question. If you haven't talked to somebody in a year and they shared some pretty intimate things with you, and then you need to call them again, but you can't remember most of the things that they said, how motivated are you to call them? So how easy is it for you to supposed to call them today? And we've all done this, right? I actually have, there's a number on my desk right now. I'm not proud of this stuff, but y'all know I screw up, so I talk about it. So a client recommended somebody to me. I called them right away. They called me back the next day. And it was in the morning, and I was with Anna on Wednesday, and I'm like, oh God, okay, I'll deal with it. And then Wednesday came, and then we had the meeting, and then Thursday, I had a bunch of stuff with the kids and all sorts of stuff. I got crazy. And then yesterday, and I still have not, I have to call them today. But guess what? Now I'm embarrassed that I haven't called them for 3 days. So yesterday afternoon, I was embarrassed that I didn't call them. I could have called them yesterday afternoon. But I didn't call them yesterday afternoon because I was a little embarrassed. Like, I didn't know that I was a little embarrassed that I didn't call them, but I was like, oh, something kept coming up. But now, guess what? Now I'm even more embarrassed because now a whole nother day's gone by. So how easy is it for me? I don't know these people. How easy is it for me to just not call them? Like, it's really not that hard. Who's going to know? Well, they're going to know. And the client that recommended me to know. But if like 2 months from now, they're like, hey, whatever happened? I'm like, I don't know. I left a message. And then I can sidestep the embarrassment and just never deal with it. Can I, Cindy? Yeah. Am I the only one in the room that's ever done that? No. Well, guess what? If I have a variety, if I need to call a client and I can't remember their children's name, how many think there's a really good chance I'm not talking to them about their children? Hey, David, how's your child? Right? It's a daughter, right?
It's a boy.
It's a boy. Oh, that's right. You have a boy. Wait, you were in my house. You talked to me about planning. You talked to me about the future, and you can't remember the gender?
I had that exact same conversation with David like 3 weeks ago. Like, and I know David. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that to show to help prove the point.
I did last week.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like because we had the same conversation. I knew you had a kid, but I couldn't remember was it a boy or was it a girl, right?
That's why I didn't buy insurance.
No, but that's enormous. Versus, and so Versus, now, no one expects you to remember the kids' names because they barely remember their kids' names, right? But when you know it, when you're like, hey, how's Aaliyah? Now all of a sudden, you understand that instantly reconnects the relationship. Instantly. So this isn't about you and I becoming superhuman and being able to remember all of this information. That's a colossal waste of time and energy. Trying to store all of this energy, all of this information in your brain is a complete and total waste of time. But that doesn't mean it shouldn't be stored somewhere that we can easily access it. Guess what? If I'm getting ready to call David, do you know what I might want to do? I might want to pull up something that reminds me what his kids' names are and the types of things that we've done. That makes sense? So my friend Tony and I went on an appointment with a lady named Cynthia. Yes, he is. I don't think that's what I think that's an E. Okay. So, and the date was Thursday. Nancy, go back. And the good news is that I can change this to
So it was a second meeting?
yeah, this was a go back. It should have been done on the first, right? But this is the Tony's learning this. But now we've got, because we've input this, we know our daughter's information, we know her email, we know all the different things we need to do, right? This was a personal bullpen, right? Building to Ally, right? We got a commitment of $100, and the go back was the 17th, right? Oops. And now we can go through and we can talk about she's got a new job. So she was unemployed, but now she's got a job that she's starting on the 28th at Pacific Western Bank. You think I'm going to remember Pacific Western Bank a year from now? No. Am I going to remember that she just started the job? No. But it talks about, right, time of the job, starting. So now all of a sudden we can write in here, and you guys understand that what this gives us the ability to do, it allows us to say, starting September 28th, 2015. So now, 2015 at Pacific West Bank. It allows us to be able to go, she's going to be full-time, right? We know what her income is, we can plug that in, where the growth. So now all of a sudden, a year from now or 6 months from now, if we're going to talk to Cynthia, it's easy to pull this up and go, hey, how's it going at Pacific West Bank? Did the first 6 months, you just finished the first 6 months, is it what you wanted to do? Blah, 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 blah. And now all of a sudden, the information's here for a very powerful relationship. And it took 11 seconds. What's easy to do is easy not to do. But this allows you to be able to go through and fill out what are the goals, what are the things, right? What are we saving, right? What's her retirement? Well, we rolled over retirement, we said we started a college fund. So now all of a sudden we started a Coverdale IRA for $40 a month, right? In Invesco. So we've got the different pieces, right? So it allows us to go through what do we do with the insurance, what's her debt situation, what do we need to do? What's her game plan? This is what this entire thing's about, because before you go on a go back, this is what, you guys want to get really good at helping families? You get really good at this page. Because this page will tell you what you're going to do, what your intentions, what your ambitions, what you think you're going to do for the client, step by step by step. It forces us to think in steps. Is this too much? Is it helping y'all? Okay, so it allows us to go through and say, well, what are we going to do? Well, on 9/17, from a client standpoint, we're going to take care of our life insurance. Okay, we're going to add another one. 9/17, we're going to take care of an investment. 9/17, we're going to take care of another investment. We did the rollover. So step 2, step 3. But guess what? Step 4, we need to see if dad is back in the country. We're doing the auto and home, but the dad's on the policy, the dad's out of the country. So James talked to her and said, well, it's better if. He said he's going to be gone for a month or two. So here's a task that hasn't been done. It allows us to go through. So we can fill all this stuff out. And now we can say, oh, these three are done, but that one's not. And then we can take that information and we can set up. Now, in a perfect world, what it should do is any of the undone should trigger a task. It doesn't do that, so we can copy it and paste it. So it's a good system, but not a great system, right? But it allows us to be able to know why. So let's just say, watch this for a second. Tony doesn't have a securities license. So this is rollover old 401k. This is set up IRA $40. Okay, so that's what the F&A is going to say to do. Does Tony have a securities license? No. If Tony knows his presentation and he goes on it first, can he? Well, he wouldn't be able to do this one because he didn't know this stuff, right? But he thought, could he write these 4 steps up without a securities license on this piece of paper or on this form? Yeah. Now, when he does this, he walks in. So all of a sudden, so let's say it looks like this. So he goes in. It's the 16th. He fills that out, and then on the 17th, he goes in and he does it. And he's like, boom, yeah, boy, right? Puts in a 30-year term for $60.29. Awesome, right? Put the right coverage amount, got all that information in there, done, got it. Why? Stored, so the next year he's able to go through. But guess what's not done? These two. Why aren't these two things done if I'm not there? He doesn't have a license. But he knows what needs to get done, huh? So now all of a sudden, he gets the ability to reach out to me or reach out to somebody else and say, hey, the client has this old 401k that we've got to roll over. We've got this Coverdale IRA that we need to get set up, right? She's in Monrovia. Do you have some time so that we can get this coordinated? And now we actually know what's not done. Does this make any sense? Because guess what? There's going to be lots of things that aren't done. There's going to be lots of things that you forget weren't done. Look, maybe this task gets forgotten, but then 8 months from now, you're doing a review of Cynthia, and you pull this up, and you're like, oh my God, her dad's been back in town for 3 months, and we never followed up on this. Well, if you actually have this, you still can do it. It would be better to be able to do it up front, but we're not all perfect, right? But if we don't have this information, it's gone, right? What are the notes? What are the types of things? That's not good. It's funny. So 4 days ago, Satya, the president, the CEO of Microsoft, was doing a presentation, a live presentation, which is hard to do a dead presentation, but he's doing a live presentation, and he's like, you can even integrate Cortana into this, which is their like verbal, they're like their Siri, and he's like, Cortana, blah 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 blah, and she's like, you want to learn how to fly birds, right? And like 3 different times, and he's like, yes, that's not gonna work. It was. I felt better about myself. Right? So, but what? So I'm gonna try it this way. Mercury went retrograde, so this is not here. All right. So what happened is, for some reason it's not, but it's really supposed to. I don't know why. So we're supposed to contact Cynthia because once she starts the new job and get things situated and settled, she's open to us coming and sitting and talking to her about potentially the opportunity, right? Here's what she's focused on. Here's what she's excited about. Here's what she's scared about. All of that can go into these notes. Why? Because then when we reach out and we're getting ready to go see them, You go see her, we can actually remember the conversations that we had. Because I have lots and lots of conversations with lots and lots of people, there's no way I'm going to remember all of those tools. Does that make sense? And the really cool thing is if my friend Tony does this, I can pull it up. And so as he's getting ready to go on a go back, right, him and Wendy are getting ready to go on their own, they've got their own go back. You understand that what I get to do is I get to pull this up and review this with him. And the most important thing I can do is go, look, okay, so let's walk through your game plan. What are your steps? What's your plan? Well, I don't know. I'm going to go deliver the FNA. Okay, you're coming back with nothing. Right? We can have the conversations as to what's going on, and then we can break this down. Did you have the access conversation? Yes. What was the feedback? Are they scheduled to come to the meeting? No, not yet. What? Right? Are they open to being advocate? Yes. Right? Are they? Right? So it allows us to walk through. What hurdle do they have? Right? Lives in Monrovia, believes nobody she knows will ever listen. Right? But one of the notes that I would be talking about, if I can actually get the little note thing to work, is, Tony, what's a note that you think we should have in the notes based on this appointment? Based on the growing of our business. In order to grow our business, what's a relatively important thing that happened that we should remember so that we can follow up with? You remember? Anything that comes to mind?
Well, besides the opportunity.
So we're doing that. You remember anything about our brother?
That's right. The 401k as well. Is, he doesn't have access, or he doesn't know what to do with it.
Where's he work? Where did he work? He worked at Albertsons. He's got it for 15 years, and he has a problem with the pension that he doesn't understand in a 401k, and he's living down the street right now.
And they don't want to pay him.
He doesn't know how to get the information and doesn't know where to talk. What's the likelihood of you remember any of that 6 weeks from now? So when you talk to Cynthia, because you guys are friends and you talk to her, are you ever going to mention her brother?
Not if I don't put that note.
You see what I mean? Poof, it's gone. It's just gone. Now, we're not going to follow up every minute and every day, but we already got permission to go back and see her in 5 weeks, so 5 or 6 or 8 weeks when she's got her job. So guess what? One of the things we want to do is we're going to, hey, by the way, your brother never called me. He didn't? Well, that's one of the reasons that we need to do this, is how many people like him know that they need access to the information but don't know how to do it. Look, if we got you licensed and we got those assets for you, you understand, just passive income could be a positive thing. And now we get to have a gap conversation because she's got assets and access to more assets. If her brother has the same money she's got, she can have her securities license renewals paid essentially for free. Now we have a platform for a conversation. But if we don't have that information, it's gone. Does that make sense? So that's in the, and then what happens is you get to go here and you get to go, okay, right? So let me look up. That's what I was doing. And all of a sudden, it's a year from now, and all we do is, oh look, on 10/17, we have to go back, and we can pull that up, and it's there forever. Does this make sense? It's a really, 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 really important piece. Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, one thing that's critical too is that, let's say if you take a month off or you take 2 months off or something happens, when you come back to your business, it's all still there. I mean, you're never starting over. And that's a critical component because life may happen, you may have to do something, you may get distracted, whatever. But every single thing that you do is in advance if we utilize the systems that are in place. And it never goes away.
Very, 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 very. So, so there's that, and then the second piece that's a very critical thing is tasks. Like, so look, so this is, and I wanted to show this. Normally I log in under mine, and I want to show a little of this, right? So Stacy left 3 weeks ago. These are all client connections that we've got to follow up with. Guess what? From a business standpoint, two things. One, none of this is going to ever get done without the system. Because even if Stacy is the greatest internal system in the history of the world, the moment she leaves, all of that institutionalized knowledge is gone. Y'all realize that? Well, guess what? Let's say Stacy's one of your associates. Let's say instead of this being the Access support, this is an associate. And let's say all of a sudden Stacy got accepted to, right? She moved to Arizona. And she's like, we got a new job, we're going through this, I love America, but my family's moving, my daughter's going to college, I'm moving, right? I'm not going to do the business. My husband's parents passed away, God forbid, and so got an inheritance, and we're out of the business. We love the business, but we're out of the business. Y'all with me? And she's been working the system, and these are all people that need to be developed. All of that information is still there. So now all of a sudden, what happens is, Bonnie Bayless, one of my clients, has a couple $100,000, but let's say it's Stacy's client. Bonnie Bayless needs to have an annual review, needs to know what's going on. So all of a sudden, let's say David and Anna David just passed the securities license. He knows the conversation. He's ambitious. He's fired up. He's excited, right? But he's young, right? He wants to get things. Isaac, right? You come in, you get the business going, you get clear, you really understand the language, you got your licenses, but you just moved and you've been around and you're like, I just don't have enough people to go see. But I'm like, well, Stacy's gone. Bonnie's need a review. I got a question. Bonnie, you know what? Stacy's amazing. She still loves what we're doing, but she's not active right now or anymore. We want to make sure you support. We got a young tiger that just got licensed. That's really, really smart. That's got this together. It's phenomenal people skills. I'd love for you to meet with him and see if you think that you could work with this young man and if he could help you with your accounts. Well, if we know all the information with Bonnie, it's really easy to reach out and have that conversation because someone's been communicating with her since the beginning. And so there's a built support system and it all hasn't been dependent on the agent and on the associate. Y'all with me? But now all of a sudden, though, Isaac gets to go, wait, I get to go in. So now all of a sudden we get to go, okay, Stace, keep your licenses, but we're going to split it. So now all of a sudden Isaac becomes first associate. Okay, Stace becomes second associate. So there's support there in their service. So she's still getting passive income, but it gives Isaac access to a brand new relationship. He gets to practice. He gets to learn. He gets to gather the assets. He builds a passive income. He's got the opportunities to grow. And who converts her to an ally, possibly an advocate, meets 2 or 3, or meets her cousin or next door neighbor. And now there's a whole new avenue of expansion for a brand new guy. But that only happens if we have the information. Because otherwise what happens is that if Isaac calls Bonnie and says, so I know you're in Bakersfield, you've been a client for the last couple of years, you've got this, right? You met them, you know this, here's where the relationship came from, here's what's going on. I know that your daughter lives in San Diego, I know that your other daughter lives with you, I know that your nephew lives, right? And he's got this information because, and it's not like I know all this information, but it was before Stacy left, she told me all about you. Before Stacy left, she told me all about you. She told me this and she told me this about you, and I'm really excited to meet you. Now, how cold of an appointment is that now when Isaac walks in the door? It's not that cold. He's got to go in. He's got to be nice. He's got to be serviceable. But he's got the institutionalized knowledge. So now all of a sudden, Bonnie's like, someone's coming to take care of me, and it's not a complete stranger. I might not know him, but I know where he comes from, and he gets me. We're talking about multiple generational transfers of information and wealth. The institutionalized knowledge is critical. Yeah.
This is a second question. You might get mad at me for asking it, but what's the backup situation on this?
There are 7 iterations, 7 different server systems around the country. So this is Rackspace is the top engineering company, and they're the ones that house the back office, all the storage. Military encryption, like the highest level possible. Okay, So, y'all understand that this system is $40 a year for, like, it's crazy. But that's all right. All right. So what that does, but now go from the staff. So, but I want you to understand. So Stace left, boom, gone, happy, good, go with God. Things are good. Shit. All of this stuff needs to get done. Great. So Anna, guess what next week's about? You're going to learn about tasks. So we have not done any follow-up communication for a month. We're behind, but we're not out. Guess what? Anna's going to do 190 of them next week. She's going to get really good at them.
Well, and you know how you wouldn't be behind if you didn't have this. You would be starting over.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing is that the system replaces the person.
Yep.
So, and that's critical. Like, if we're going to build a business, because what if you have? How long was Stacy with you?
15 years.
Okay, so you can't replace her experience in terms of 15 years. But if she would have, for the 15 years, been doing this, it would have been a much more seamless transition. And it is much more seamless because she's been doing this for a year or whatever. Yeah. So
we've been on this about 2.5 years, so things are moving and good. So you're right. So what Anna's got to do is she's got to introduce herself to these people, but she doesn't have to She doesn't have to have the. Okay, so Laura Regan, again, one of my clients. Laura and Charles Regan. I saw them 2 years ago. Yes, 2013. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. For the first time in 9 years. Talked to them 2 years ago for the first time in 9 years. They've been clients for 11 years. First time in 9 years. We talked to them 2 years ago, and now we've talked to them a bunch of times and communicated with them. I communicated with them. The back office communicated with them a handful of times. So now all of a sudden, when it's time to reach out, Anna's going to introduce herself, but not remind them of who we are. It's not, hi, I know no one's talked to you in forever, but. And Cynthia is never going to have this problem. Cynthia is never going to have this challenge, and let me show you why. So what's nice is it allows us to be able to go over here to workflows, and what you'll notice is that there are 2 workflows that have been established. Well, what does this mean, right? So we started a workflow for through this process. So watch, it should do this, and this is what's so cool. So this will be for, because we didn't do the, okay, so, but we didn't do it. So remember, we didn't do any tasks this week, but we started this, and so we moved the date to next Friday. Go with me? So what's going to happen is next Friday, there's going to come an email that comes to the office that says, hey, we've got to do our introduction email to Cynthia about her daughter's account, about what's going on. We're revamping that this isn't how it's going to look and all this other stuff, right? Why are we having this conversation? Cynthia's only going to know support. So we go, the Regans went 9 years without it, and then 2 years of working. Cynthia's only going to know support from the life side, from the investment side, from all the different processes. All she's going to know is that her daughter has a program and that it's constantly getting communication. And Tony knows nothing about this. Well, he does now because we're having this conversation. Tony's got access to his own support, but so we're going to have a consistent back office support in conjunction with the associate. Does that make sense? But it doesn't have to be, we can have, like the goal is, look, right now we're doing minimal business. We're going to talk about that, but we're growing. My goal is by February, that we're helping, we're recruiting 20, 22, 25 people a month. That we're helping 25 to 40 families a month. That we're writing 50 to 80 funds a month. That we're picking up $800 to $1 million a month in assets. By February to April, I believe that that's what we will be doing. A part-time person will not be able to process that. We'll have one full-time and 2 or 3 or 4 different part-time. We'll have someone who's an expert in the life business, and that's all they do. And someone who's experts with associates, and that's all they do. And someone who's experts with the securities, and that's their priority, right? And they come in and they work the schedule, and they go through it, and they communicate. So there's a high-level communication with the families that we serve. You don't have to worry about anything. But it allows us to make sure that that support's done. When one of your clients calls and they've got to do a bank draft change form, and they've got to do some changing, the back office will be able to facilitate the change and then shoot you an email that says, hey, just want to let you know, touch base with your client today, handled it, it's all done, wanted you to know. Boom. So now all of a sudden our part-time associate says, oh my God, my business is growing and I was at my job. Guys, that's a fundamental key. I was explaining to Anna, going, my clients love Stacy more than they love me. They're going to love our back office. If we do this right, your clients love the back office more than they love you. That's confrontational for a handful of folks. And if I would have said that 5 years ago, 90% of the office would have said that I was crazy, and they would have been like, oh, no, but it's always been like that for me. Why? I don't want to service my clients, but I want my clients serviced. I'm not sure I should have that on record, but I do. You know why? Because I want to deal with paperwork and processing, and part of the, I want to have relationships with my clients. I want to talk to my clients about their goals and their dreams, about their ambitions, about the things they're working on, and their kids' programs and all that other stuff. I don't want to talk to them about their accounts. Now, if they have questions about their accounts, I'm going to answer them. Does that make sense? If someone says, should I keep having this investment? Is this the right investment approach? Now we're talking about an approach, not an account. Does that make sense? Well, the only way that happens is we sell the hell out of our support system, and we get them in communication, and anytime there's a problem, they jump on it and fix it. Now it's at an incredibly high level. Is this helping you guys understand kind of how any of these pieces are going to work? So this allows that process to go. That's the purpose of what this is. And then tasks come like this. So,
Does this integrate pretty well with the Surface?
incredibly well.
Because the iPad is not so good.
Oh yeah, incredible. So oops. Oh, really? It's not spelled right in there. Okay. So we'll have to fix that. And watch so that this will be really good. Okay. So, 11.1. Yes. Okay. Oops. And you'll see. Okay, there you go. It's a lot easier when you're looking. So guess what? Tony's going to get an email on the 1st. He's going to pop that up. It allows for that experience. So the office can do it, anyone in your organization, so you'll be able to set tasks for your folks, be able to do a variety of different things as we get this.
It gives us that strength. It gives us that. So the task process. There are workflows. There's all sorts of things that we're going to spend some more time with, and there's a lot of things that are coming over the next little bit. This allows us to build on it. Okay, it's free for 90 days, and then it's $40 a year. Please don't let the $40 a year be the reason that you don't get financially leverage into it. These two don't work yet. We're still working on them. They're driving me bonkers. But ultimately, the goal is for us to be able to put in the different relationships and be able to piece things together. With all that, you play with this. Any questions? Does this make any sense? Okay. However you use these tools, the better you use them, the better the opportunities will be. Okay, one of the things that we need to do for a moment. Oh, that's going to be good.
Oh man, your password weight is cool again. Come on.
Right? Nope. Okay, so one of the things that we want to be able to do for everybody in the room is to be able to go to my info. Okay. Okay, so we want to go, if you go over to my info, and you go there, and here's the reason why. What? Check that out. Okay, but there's something missing on that. Well, there's a couple things missing on that. The only reason Tony did that is when he let him, so you probably want to have that. But we go over here to our PEP and roll in. That's called the Partnership Empowerment thing in above. I don't think it's in above. It's going to be a different last letter. Program. So I understand and agree. Take me to the enrollment page. Okay. Here's where you can put your names. It says don't use team names, use team names. It's T.A. right? So we want it to be able to see, all right, we got to start letting the country know who we are. So we have a couple things. One is if Tony and Wendy wanted, you can change this to Tony and Wendy Gomez if you wanted to. Tony Gomez and Wendy Garcia if you wanted TA. But we got that because we want to be able to start letting the country know what's going on with that. So David and Anna, T. And for them both to be capital letters, I think we're training on this, but I guess we train on everything. For it to be capital letters, you have to do T dot space A dot. If you don't put a space there, then they'll make that a small letter, right? It's just for whatever reason. Someone's able to figure it out, like there's someone that figured it out, but I've never been able to figure out how they did it. See, no space, the small f. That's just the way the things need to be.
Maybe mine went in small the first time, and then I went back and corrected it.
Yeah. So and then look, Mr. Ordaz, number 5. So I was excited about this. So last month, this fired me up. Primerica publishes everything. So a part-time guy that wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning was 21st in the state of California in cash flow. Right? We're just figuring this thing out for senior reps. Right? So it's ridiculous what we're going to be doing. Like this, the numbers are, and there's all sorts of opportunities for you can read all this and go through. Like POL's pretty freaking awesome. Like if you actually spend the time on it and go through, there's a ton of things to understand what the pieces are. So, just so that we get this clear, just so that we're on the right thing, so that people know. So all the people below the level of regional vice president. Here's the #1 team on Avenue Stanford below the level of regional vice president. So, I mean, it's a long street. It's a good 1.5 miles. The #1 below regional vice president is Jesse Monique Melendez. That's younger generation 2.0, I guess, which is actually pretty cute. And so, #1, you know, with that. So, on a regional leader contract. Now, regional leader contract is a 80% contract. And they did $8,000 of production and made twice as much money as you, who's on a 35% contract and did $2,000.
I understand.
Our team makes more money. Like, we are very profitable. We keep our business and we go through it. Like, when UB does $8,500 as a regional leader, he'll make about $4,500 or $5,000, and they make $1,600. And I don't mean to pick on them, but we're just going to grow. Doesn't matter. Actually, this is my own thing. So we want to be able to show that process. And then these are all the folks that we grew up with. So Primerica says, so just so that we've got kind of an understanding of all this, so #1 in the state of California last month as an office was Mario Treni Arizon. Their business, their office, helped 139 families. They did $134,000 of production. Okay, he's 28 years old, 29 years old. So it's not bad, right? Got in the business when he was 20 or 19 or something like that. And so now the organization, but guys, understand. I want you to make sure that we understand how absolutely good the environment and where we came from. I grew up. Like what Neil, like what's happening is pretty awesome. Like, right, to have, right, I grew up with them, they were in the business at the same time, in the business, and like Danny, so our upline is Mark and Lizette Rolls. Mark and Lizette Rolls hired Brett Sears, Neil Gerfine, and John Ballou. John Ballou hired Danny Chimora. Neil, Danny, Neil, right, John Ballou, right, we come from a pretty good stock of folks that say we know how to build. Right? It's been a little while since our name's been up there, and it's time for us to get this thing back. Right? The fun thing is, with the biggest thing is, I know that we get back here. When we get here, we stay. And this is about the opportunity to grow and develop, because when we're helping, when our organization or our office is helping 100 families a month, and we're running through the support system, and we've got those pieces, the clients don't go away. The relationships maintain, the opportunities in place.
The other thing too that I think everybody needs to realize is that from a business perspective, everyone on that list, okay, all of that premium from this month is new, all right? All the premium in the next month pretty much is new, right? In terms of within the last time period of, let's say, the last 6 months, those relationships. What happens is if we use the Access support and we keep in contact with all of our clients from today, a year from now, we get all of that premium, whatever's cranking a year from now, and then we get a set of referrals from everyone that we talk to now. Do you guys understand that? Yeah. So that what happens is that all of these results basically are without any of the support and without any tracking, because they don't do, nobody up there does any of the tracking of their old clients like we're going to do it. And so there's no way that your business is going to be much healthier than these businesses, because you're going to have 2 sets of feeder systems of business. Does that make sense? You guys don't get it. I'm just trying to tell you it's a big deal, because I don't know. No, help me out on this, please.
No. So the reason I highlighted this is I went to all of these folks, we all went to the same meetings. We all learned the same business, which is all of the business comes, recruit new people. So here's where all of this production comes from this list. And so this will be step 1 of this conversation, so that we really get our head around this. Here's the business model. I'm going to recruit somewhere between 40 to 100 people. They're going to come to a meeting, Cindy. We're going to do their top 10, And within 24 to 72 hours, my job is to get as many of these people on as many appointments as humanly possible. So they're going to take me to their brothers, their sisters, their moms, their dads, their sisters, their aunts, their uncles, and their cousins, their best friends, and they're going to do it before they get licensed. And so what's going to happen is, the way I end up on the slide before is by getting these folks out on appointments. Now, what's actually happening, right, and you can tell this from a number standpoint, is it's actually not working. And ours, I didn't work for ours either. So watch. So 113 recruits and 139 sales. Now, I have a question. David and Anna have a daughter. If I met David today, what's the first thing I need to do? Excuse me. And look, let's make sure this is perfectly clear. This is a 29-year couple that's been here less than 10 years, is making $1 million. This is not undermining or embarrassing or saying that everything they're doing is wrong. We're talking about the concept of different. We want to build a company. Now, do David and Anna need to be a client? Yeah, they got a family. Right? I was 22 years old. I was taking care of my niece's college. I had bought life insurance immediately. Did I have to? No. But my responsibility was to take care of my niece, make sure that she went to college. So that was a priority. So if we recruit, there's going to be a certain number, a certain percentage of our business. If you're in the right market, 80 to 90% of your recruits are clients. Does that make sense? Yes. So if we recruit 100 people, shouldn't we write at least 80 life sales from there? Y'all with me? Yes. Plus, all the people that we tried to recruit that we didn't recruit. So what happens is I meet David at Best Buy and I'm like, look, you know, he's like, well, I don't know if it's for me. Why don't you come over? I'm like, well, worst case scenario, if we can put a program together for your daughter, like that would be good. And Dave was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do the business, but yeah, I need the services because I tried recruiting him, but I didn't recruit him, but I'm going to go show him what we do. What I'd like to do is, you know, kind of use your family as an example, because if you don't see any value in what we're doing, it's not going to make any sense for you to participate in the opportunity. Isn't that fair? All right, you want to know how the conversation goes? Look, what we should probably do, Tony, why don't we show you guys what we do using your family as an example? Because if you don't see any value in what we're doing, it's not going to make any sense for you to take advantage of the opportunity. I mean, that's fair, isn't it? So what's the best time for me to pop over and share with you a little bit more specifically what we do? That still works incredibly well. You should do that. I have an appointment on Thursday from that conversation. Like this isn't a Sandlot versus a not. Like this is we should probably have, you should have a clear idea of what we're doing, because if you don't see any value in what we're doing, it's not going to make any sense for you to take advantage of the opportunity. Isn't that fair? Like that's a pretty sound concept, right? Yeah. So, but when you're doing that, you're going to create clients from people who decide that the opportunity is not for them. Isn't that fair? There's nothing wrong with that. That's true. So, but I have a question. If you recruit 113 people and write 139 sales, how many people are actually getting field trained? Now, different organizations are a little bit better at it. Neil's organization's a lot better at field training, right? So you look at Tanya, 58 recruits. Eric, 50 recruits. 50 recruits, 150 sales. 50 recruits, 150 sales. Guess what that's doing? That's recruiting more people and getting them to go see their brothers and sisters, their aunts or uncles, and their cousins. Y'all with me? Well, watch this. And I have not studied this, so let me see.
What? Wow. Didn't we have a month where we did like 6 or something? Like, we just started, then we do a month where we did like 5 licenses 1 month or something.
So, for those of you guys that aren't sure what's going on, Eric Davis, who's a stud, who's been here for probably 10 years, right, makes $300,000, $400,000 a year, is phenomenal. 170 life sales in his business, 50 IBAs. So, I want you to understand what this means. They write 170 sales a month. Like, that's crazy. A lot. Y'all with me? That's a lot. They have an office that processes 170, so their capacity to process and teach is incredibly high. They recruited 49 people last month. And they get 6 licenses. And we have 6 people taking their test this month. Now we have a fly in the ointment on, right? We're missing, right? We have people missing the exam by 2 or 3 questions, but we're dialing it in. Look, you give us 90 days, right? We're gonna have the test. Look, when you're gonna help us, we're gonna have the test dialed in. We are going to know exactly, like, people are gonna come in, they're gonna study what we're gonna teach them, and they're asked to pass. Like, we will have an incredibly high efficiency rate for people passing the test. We recruit 4 people a month and we have the same people taking the test. Why? Because their business isn't about codes. Their business isn't about new licenses. Their business is about getting new people to bring new people so they can get them on appointments. Isaac, have I once talked to you about who we're going to go see? No. Why? Because you can't make any money if you're not licensed. We got your hours done. We got to get your process done. We got to move you onto the roster. We got to get your application so we can get you to test date. Why? Because I'd really love for you to make $500 to $1,000 in October. Would you like to make $500 to $1,000 in October? That could be fun, right? Right? Well, we can't until you take and pass the test. Wendy, you want to make $500 to $1,000 in October? But you can't until you take and pass the test. Are you taking the test? We got to pass the test. So we got to miss those 2 questions. We're going to dial that in, but we can align the goals. So now all of a sudden, I have a financial vested interest in helping you get licensed, opposed to a financial vested interest of getting you on appointments before you're licensed. Because if Isaac takes me to the 7 people he knows right now, I want you guys just, I don't want to put a judgment on people, but I want you to hear this, and I ran this for a really long time. I have a question for you. If Isaac takes me to this, he's 21 years old. He knows 7 people that we're going to be able to sit with, that we can actually impact. If Isaac takes me to those 7 people before he gets licensed, what economic good is Isaac for me anymore?
Immediately.
Immediate. I mean, how immediate economic impact is Isaac for? Is he hitting after he's taking me to those 7 people? So why in God's name do I want to spend all the time it's going to take to get him through the process, to get him to believe he can take the test, to study, to teach him to do all that? I got to take that time that I would spend helping him get licensed, and I got to go use it to find somebody else or to get somebody else to get me out on another.
Yeah. And if he is, the reason that he is because the referrals you have got from that, so you're going to recruit somebody and then you're going to use up their market and do the same thing. Same philosophy, because he's so messed up.
But right? And so it feeds itself, but it works. It works. I tell this because I want you to understand we can't compete right now here. Today. We can't really compete here. Today. But we can compete here. We can make sure our people make the most amount of money. And we can compete here. Right now. And the fun thing is that when we compete here, and we've got 20 or 30 or 50 new licenses between now and the end of the year, do you know where we're going to be able to compete incredibly quickly? Because if we have 50 new licenses between now and the end of the year, and each of you just help 3 families a month, not 3,000, but 3, I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. But does anyone know what 50 times 3 is?
3.415.
Does anyone know what 50 times 3 is? This isn't a complicated
I know what
question.
it is. It's 150.
It's 150. 15 times 3 is 150. Why? Wouldn't 150 put us somewhere between 1st and 4th in the state of California? Well, they will, because there's an infinite number of people that have nowhere else to go.
There's 7 million people in Southern California.
They'll keep it up. I kept it up for 7 years. Because they're hoping to find, when you run a business built on the exception, for the exception at the expense of everyone else, you just got to find the 1 or 2 crazy ones that you get to go, look, they're doing it, why can't you? And they'll keep bringing people through the process.
Well, the other thing too is since their business isn't on licenses, they're not going to be looking at the license leaderboard. So if we're doing 25 or 50 licenses a month, no one will be looking at that because no one cares about that, except for us. But if we do 25 or 50 licenses every month for the next year, a year or 2 from now, that number is going to be like 300, and they're not going to be able. You can't jump from 130 to 300. You just can't.
Doing the same thing.
We have an edge.
That's scary and good at the same time.
We are playing a different game. You can't do what we're talking about doing without the SSD, without access support. You just can't.
And the interesting thing is that eventually, because of what we're doing and because of the numbers, they will push themselves from the recruits into the licensing, compete on the licensing, but the cash flow to their licensed people will never keep up because that's not the focus, that's not the goal.
And we built past, I think Tony and I, we found $66,000, we rolled it over. The day Tony gets to 65, right, that assets gets rolled over. If you look at the shirt that Wade gets, right, well, the first thing, and here's why this is, you guys want to understand the concept of this. I want you to understand how this worked. We walked out of the appointment. No bullshit. I want you to know what the conversation was. We walked out of the appointment, man, that was unbelievable, that was unbelievable. In the past, here's the conversation. Dude, man, the high five was for the life sale. The high five was for the life sale. Dead true? Like, dude, man, that was unbelievable, 60 bucks, this is good. Text that thing out. That's what the conversation would have been. Was that the conversation? No. You remember what the conversation was? So it's like, I'm supposed to remember all these things, right?
Put it down on your SSD, Tony.
Telling you, but they're purposeful. Here was the conversation. Tony, you realize you just got $66,000 the day you get licensed, those assets are getting transferred to you? Man, you're how much away from the shirt? We talked about it. You remember how much? Nope, $90,000 away from the shirt. I go, Tony, you're $90,000. If all of a sudden Cynthia's brother, man, she probably has the same money you have. You understand? We can get you that shirt right now. That's passive income that's done and taken care of. It's just waiting for you, buddy. Just waiting for you.
It's what you rolled over was retirement, right?
Yeah.
How old was the person you rolled it over?
30.
Tony, that person that rollover that you did you do in a managed account? Okay. So that person's 30. They're not going to retire for 35 years, right? Once you get your license, that money stays in there for 35 years, and you get paid on that, what you did last week, every month for the next 35 years. But then, you don't have your securities license, so Brett gets paid on it for like 35 years. But
right? And the 60 in 6 years becomes 120. And in 6 years, it becomes 240. And in 6 years, it becomes 480. And in 6 years, it becomes 900. And in 6 years, it becomes $1.8 million. And you don't have to do anything except when the task comes up, talk to Cynthia and remember her daughter's name. That's what we're doing. And guess what's really fun about this? Those are my assets right now, and the moment Tony gets his license, they're Tony's assets. And so now he's an asset in my business because now is he ever going anywhere ever? He might not do the business forever, but is he ever leaving? No, because he's got $1.9 million of assets waiting 20 years from now, and all he has to do is keep his licenses active. Yes.
And also, sorry, but you guys got to realize this too. In any other business, what happens is, Tony, if we don't do it that way, and then Brett gets that business, then when you leave the business, if you ever leave the business for whatever reason, you're mad at Brett, all right? Now, go to your business. People will never be mad at you. Your people will never be mad at you because all you're trying to do is make your people money. That's all you're trying to do. And nothing happens for your business unless your people's business is growing and they're making money off of their stuff. You understand that? You never have to make money off of your people. That's incredibly important. And so you never have to worry about anyone in your business thinking anything poorly about you because you can always look at every single person with a straight face and be like, no. I'm saving this money for you so that when you get licensed, we're putting it over in your name immediately. Instead of, well, I do all the work now, I'm going to keep it, but when you get licensed, now you're going to have the skills to go get your own money. Do you see the difference in that?
Which is what we did for 15 years, and that's exactly what we do. Now watch, you want to see something sick? Sick. I wish the system worked better. But sick. Guys, you want to see something sick? Because it's easy to hear what Wade said and be like, bullshit. As if you don't know us all that well, it's easy to go, what he just said is bullshit. But if you have a very good memory, I want you to take a look at the names on this list. And I want you to look at the number of homes that they're in order, because look, if you're closing 170 sales, you're in 250 homes. Right? Because it's not a one-for-one, right? So you're in 250 to 300 homes. Watch this. Watch this. See these names. See these names. See these names. Tell me when you see the first name that you saw. Cheryl Bartlett? Number 6. Okay, so number 6. So Mario's business found 900 grand. Good for them. That's a surprise for me, to be completely honest, because that's not a normal scenario for him.
Maybe they just got a big one.
Right? But that's not a traditional normal situation for them, but that's good. Okay? What about the rest? Number 41, 248,000. Here, let's go this way. Let's go year to date. You guys want to really have some fun? To really drive what Wade's talking about? 1,075 sales. 1,400. 700. Total securities. You guys understand? Mario's actually doing it. Good for him. Look at the rest. You guys understand? No one's finding assets, but they're in the homes. It's not their business.
Can you look up securities licenses?
This one makes cry.
So that means Tom and Jerry got 10.6 million.
Yep.
They found it.
Their team.
Their team.
Yeah. To date. Year to date.
To date, that's 10 years. 1,000 new licenses this year, not counting the licenses from last year that got licensed in October, November, January. That
1,000 new licenses or 1,000 new recruits?
1,000 new licenses. No, 1,000 new recruits.
Yeah.
1,000 new IBAs. 8 new securities licenses.
Everyone in our life, everyone that we license is getting a securities license.
Because Tony's it's costing him now. Every month, I get $25 a month for me.
For 35 years, Tony.
And then it becomes
Thank
50,
you.
and then it becomes 100, and then it becomes 200, and then it becomes 500.
Unless you get your license.
As soon as you get your license.
You get to have that, though. When I do business, guess who does not get my business?
And as low as that number is, but it also explains why Mario is where he is.
Yeah,
on
why
the
they've got
others.
5 million
Because
versus
at least he has them. You
Yeah.
can start looking at the others, and you're not going to ton your pose down there.
Tanya Post 3,
Think about that, though. Think about that.
Eric Davis
The
2.
the number one or the people who are number one, like that of the old school that do both, right, have 8 licenses this year. Okay, it's September, so they're averaging 1 a month, right? And that makes them the #1 in base shops that do securities and life. Because most people they'll do like a lot of life or they'll do a lot of securities, but they don't do both, right? We want to do both because we make the most money at that. So think about this. The #1 guy that does both with life and securities is doing it with 8 securities licenses. So that means that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of us in this room. If we're all securities licensed, then we would be #1. We could be. That's all they got. They have a team this size of securities licensed people. That's it. And they're #1 in terms of the type of business that we're going to run in terms of life and securities. It's not, guys, it's not like they have 70 people running around doing securities. It's this team size right here. Now, they may have 80 people around us, but if we were all securities licensed, you put 80 people around us with life licenses or whatever, that's it. It doesn't, we already have the team big enough to be able to compete with these people on securities. And that's if we don't grow for a year of securities license. It's just the team that we have right now.
Sometimes life's about recognizing your moment. We're building the protocols for the life licenses. We're building the protocols for the securities licenses. We've got a professional teacher that's building the education process to make sure, Cindy, that we've got all the securities licenses that we need. We're going to get people past this test because we're going to put in a ton of time and a lot of money into making sure that we've got the resources because it's about everything. Guys, team. And today, the purpose of today, and we're going to end because there's not a lot more we can go through today. The purpose of today is for a legitimacy to fall into your heart, to start realizing, oh my God, this is real. Like, this is big and what we're doing. Tony met a lady, sold her a car, followed up, scheduled an appointment. We went in, we did the first appointment, gathered the F&A, did a go back, set up a college fund, properly protected her, and rolled over an old retirement account that was sitting there. That was it. We were there an hour and a half. Tony made a couple $100 and has access to a fund that's going to grow, right? That's what, on a Thursday morning. Tony didn't have to quit his job. He didn't have to stand up and go talk to 1 million people. He went to his market. He developed his bullpen. He figured out who the people were, and he's starting to work and develop the relationships. Now he's learning what to do and how to say and where to grow, right? He's putting in the skills and the resources to be able to do this. They're fundamentally pushing themselves to grow. Good things are happening. We said this was going to happen. What do you think happens if instead of the 1s and the 2s, if all of us locked arms, if all of us put in the time to learn our skills a little bit better, to grow our belief a little bit more, to understand the legitimacy of the business a little bit stronger? We turned to our market and we started to believe, because 90 days ago, we asked how many people believe that this is a great place to make an extra $500 a month, and no one in the room honestly raised their hand saying yes. But in the last 3 months, Elvira made $394. Last month, we made $621. In the last month and a half, Tony's made $535. Those are the 3 people that have actively tried to get on appointments on a consistent basis. The 3 people that have actively tried to get on appointments on a consistent basis have all made at least $400 doing it. And we're just figuring this thing out. So now, how many of you believe if you actively try to work the business, you should be able to make at least $500 in Primerica? 90 days ago, don't raise their hand. Now, well, what does it mean to actively? We got to look, and we got to dial in the next level. And we need to get 2 or 3 or 4 people doing. We got to start the competing. We got to go, right? We got to use our Slack. We got to use the number. Like, I blew up. It's funny. Like, I love Tony, right? But when we left, I'm like, make sure you Slack this. And then like 30 minutes later, he hadn't done it. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, he's like, oh, I'm just about to do it. I'm like, I'm gonna blow your ass up. Like, we gotta get some urgency on this thing, man. We gotta send this thing out fast, right? There's gotta be this. Because there's a game. There's an opportunity to compete. There's this, and it's not bad, but there's a sport to this, and we gotta, like, the laid back, cool stuff. That shit don't work. We have our shot. We worked our butts off to get here. These guys, that's phenomenal and horrific. 154 codes out of 1,050 IBAs. It's 10%.
8 securities licenses.
8 securities licenses. It's less than 10%. It's less than 1%.
Well, of total people, it's way less than 1%, but of licensed people, it's 3.5%.
I actually think this would be interesting to see as well. You guys haven't played on this thing. It's crazy.
It's insanity if you look at it.
Everything. It's way more fun when you're growing and seeing. It's not fun when all of a sudden everything disappears. Ah! Okay, but it's all right. Stand where you stand. Guys, no one touches us. Eric Davis, smart guy, 170 sales a month, 50 IBAs a month. That's 12. How can you say you're committed to helping people make money and get successful if less than 1 out of 10 people you pick up $199 for gets licensed? Isaac, every time we've talked, all I've ever talked to you about, has there been one time we've talked that we haven't talked about you getting your license? One time! Wendy, has there been one?
Is there a way to get people unstuck, Brett, without getting them a license?
No. All there is, guys, you have an edge. And this isn't about making fun. They're all kicking our ass right now.
The only thing that they have an advantage on us is that one guy's team name of Bald Team Extreme might be better than our team.
Very bald. Susan
Bald Team Extreme. I listen. That's all. That's incredible.
That's his last name.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's very bald. It's Team Extreme.
All right.
His last name is very bald.
Bald Team Extreme is awesome. I love it. That's fantastic. You can only be on a team if you bald and shave your head. That's the commitment.
So, guys, Wednesday night, we put people in this room. Let's go tell our story. Right? Let's challenge ourselves to grow. Let's feed the belief that we're in the right place at the right moment, at the right time, that people need this. Let's understand, right? Tony and I sat with a lady. She's worked at the credit union for like 10 years and then at a bank, and she didn't know the Rule 72. She didn't know the difference between an IRA and an investment. She thought an IRA was her investment. She's like, if I roll this over into an IRA, I'm not going to make any money. She works at a damn bank. She's smart. No idea. Guys, what we have is real. Our moment is now. So let's have some fun. Let's blow this thing out and let's get it done. Level up. Big.
We didn't do.
We didn't do. I know. I'm sure about it.
Something GPS. It's something
GPS is toy. It's loaded.
GPS.
It's low GPS. It's loaded GPS.